This tutorial is going to be all about cars. On the right here I have a little mini cart that I'm going to make for you guys, and I'll show you how to make your own car. Just a very simplistic kind of car, bare bones. And then I'm going to show you in this one pretty much what all of this means. So you can stick around for that at the end. Alright, so I'm going to get started. This is going to be more like a spaceship than a car. One of the first things you need is the controlinator. You place that down. Now, one thing you want to take note of, when your Sackboy enters the controlinator, you can see how he's facing down. If you don't figure out which way you want him facing, you're going to have a whole bunch of problems later on. So let's rotate that so he's facing up, so it looks like he's driving. Or you can always just hide this so the player doesn't even see it, but this way it sort of looks like you're driving a little car. Okay, to make a basic vehicle, we're only going to need three things. The first is the anti-gravity tweaker. And you'll want to set this to 100% anti-gravity. That means zero gravity will affect it. And then dampening, that just means how much does it slow down after you stop accelerating. So I usually set this to about 30, but you can change this around when you start making your vehicles to see what works best for you. So we got our anti-gravity. The next thing we need is our advanced rotator. And there are two ports to this. The first one determines whether or not it's on, and then the one on the left determines what will rotate it. So all you do is hook up the left and right stick to both the on and the rotator, and then later when you understand complex logic you can make it so different things will turn it on and off. But that's all you need for that. And then the last thing we're going to need is just a basic mover. This is going to be our accelerator. You want to change the left and right speed to 0, and then you want to change up and down speed. That's going to be how much speed you get. So this will all change depend on acceleration and deceleration as well, so keep that in mind. You'll have to mess with that to see what works best. And then the most important one is local space needs to be set to yes. That means that if local space is set to no, and this is activated, it's only going to move up and down on the screen. But if local space is set to yes, when the car rotates to the left, now this is up and down and it's going to accelerate that way. So you have to make sure that's on. Then you just hook that up to whatever you want the gas button to be. I'm going to make it the R2 button. And that's all we need. Let's test it out. Alright, so we have our little box next to our fancy sports car. I'm going to step in here and see how it works. So you can see it's really floaty. It's kind of like a spaceship, meaning if you let go of the accelerator, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep spinning. But the dampening is good. We may want to change one of the settings, which is in the advanced rotator. Change the rotation speed to something around 120 or 140, and then it's a lot easier to control, but it's still slides a lot and we can't back up, so there's a whole bunch of other stuff we would still need to add, but this is a good start. Okay, now I'm going to show you the sports car that I made here with a more complex set of logic. I have car sounds for it. There's an idle sound. When you accelerate, there's a different sound. When you brake, there's a sound, and there's also this wide-angle camera lens. So you can see it handles really well. When you let go, it keeps rotating, which is very important. Normally what will happen is after you're done using one of the movers, it just spins the car out, and I can show you how to fix that. So right now you can see I'm idling, but it's still moving. That's sort of a necessity to keep it in line with the road, to keep it hugging the road, so to speak. And there's my old car. Alright, so let's see how this works. Okay, we'll start with the basics. I have a movie camera here, and all I did was set this to local space yes. It's just like the accelerator. You want to make sure this is on because then it will rotate with the object. I tried doing a more complex camera that was at an angle, and it's just literally impossible. You have to do a straight down view if you want to have 360 rotation. These are all my different sounds that I've hooked up to various buttons. Got a tire squeal when you hit reverse. That's just hooked up to the R2 button. Ignition is just hooked up to the player sensor, so basically if you get in the car, it'll start the ignition. The car horn's hooked up to X. The car engine is hooked up to R2, which is the accelerator, so when you hit this accelerator, you're going to hear the car start up and it'll take off. But then when you let go of the accelerator, that means R2 is running through this NOT gate. So when you let go of the accelerator and the player is sitting in the car, it'll activate the engine idle sound.